Well, happy hump day. Here it is, another grand morning outside on the front porch. Probably somewhere between 55 and 60 degrees. Let me see what time it says. 10:01. The reason why I have the phone with me is because, well, I called the, it's the Food and Safety Board for Kentucky this morning because I was trying to go online and pay the $50 registration fee for my processor's license, and I've been trying to do this off and on for the past couple of weeks anyway, and every time I get in there it won't load up, or you can't find it, or it's not visible. And so I was like, piss on it, I'll just call them this morning. And then whenever I talked to one of the people there, they transferred me to the lady that does the payments over the phone. And then she was like, well, I got some bad news. I said, what's that? She said, basically the system that I'm needing for me to pay it, basically it won't load up. So she took my name, my KDF number, and my telephone number, and she said once it gets loaded up, she'll give me a call back. Now, if I don't hear from her probably by late this afternoon, I'll just take my happy ass up in the morning tomorrow and go to the bank and get a cashier's check made out to Frankfurt and send it in. But I mean, I would much rather pay a $2.50 charge for using a debit card than a $10 charge for getting a cashier's check. So, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, last night it's not really out of the ordinary, but last night it kind of was. Fort Knox has been doing maneuvers since, you know, sometime this past weekend. They're going to be doing it for like a week or so. Normally, averagely, I mean, in the past this happened all the time, but when Fort Knox was no longer a training facility, and it went to basically a payroll hub, basically a lot of the combat maneuvers and everything just doesn't happen. You know, every once in a great while, we'll get the Marines come in here for like a weekend or a week or whatever, and they'll utilize the ranges, or they'll have like the National Guard with active duty at the same time, play like a war game or something. And it's not all the time, it's like every so often. So it's it's not really like, like what it used to be when, you go to bed at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and tanks would fire non-stop for 4 or 5 hours. And that's like where I live at right here. From like a couple of the tank ranges, I'm like maybe 3 or 4 miles from some of the tank ranges. So when you have 20 to 30 tanks lined up firing, not only do you hear the boom of the boom coming out of the barrel, when the rounds hit downrange, you feel it too. But that hasn't happened in about 10 years-ish. Well, I would say 10 years, probably since about 2000. Well, yeah, for about 10 years. I don't think it's been that long. But I was going to say about 2013 is about the time they quit. But it's about, since it's 2023, it's 10 years. Sounds crazy. But yeah, it's like I made a small video. I mean, it wasn't a very long. It's maybe what, maybe a minute to at max 3 minutes of a video of it last night, and basically, you know, they were running all night long. There was like, if I had to guess, the total amount of helicopters in the air last night would probably be somewhere along the lines of about 20-ish. Oh yeah, that's the all the tornado sirens going off because since this is the first day of March, they have a preparation day to where, you know, kind of like a practice, you know, make sure, like a practice drill kind of thing. So no, nothing bad's gonna happen. And it's the whole state of Kentucky. So it's not like just a county, the whole state. Basically, all the sirens are going off all over the state. But, you know, I don't pay no mind to it. Hell, even when the weather's bad and those things go off, most 98.9% of the time, I don't even care. I'm just like, whatever. But it is what it is. Sometime today, I'm going to venture into town, and I'm going to retrieve a few concrete decking blocks, and of course I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give the people probably about 12 or 1 to see if the system comes up, and if not, then I'm gonna run into town. But I'm not gonna sit here all day waiting on a phone call. But I am gonna run into town and retrieve at least a few decking blocks, and then, you know, come back home, unload them, twirl dick around the yard some. There's things I want to get moved around. I tore out the concrete beds out here in the front. We've got a big old pile of cinder blocks over there, so I'm gonna bring some for those over there, put them over here, kind of outline a certain area a certain way, and that way I can use that as a rough grid, so to say, and that way I can know exactly how much I gotta cut out, dig out to make a footer kind of thing, and, you know, just a bunch of minor things to give me an idea of a project that's going to be taking place. Now, the concrete decking block is going to be for the porch that hopefully everything goes to plan, and sometime between now and Saturday, I'm going to ask 1 or 2 people, depending on who's available, if they're able to run me to grab some lumber. And I'm gonna grab as much as possible, all the joists, all the screws, all the fittings, everything I need to eventually get the ball rolling for the back porch / mudroom. And if that does not happen, I guess I'll have to contact the lumber people and utilize one of their trucks to bring everything out here, which is going to cost me a lot more money going that route. But you know, if push comes to shove, that's what I have to do, because I'm going to have the addition put on behind the place, this year, come hell or high water, hook or crook, whichever comes first. But, and then once that is taken care of, then I can focus on some other task that needs to be done inside the house and outside the house. And yeah, it's gonna be probably from here until May. I don't want to say it's gonna be hectic, but it's definitely gonna be one of those days of, you know, anything that needs to be done is gonna have to be done. And there's not going to be none of this, since it's going to be like, well, see, in February I kind of dicked around some. I mean, we got ahead of the schedule, getting stuff organized in the yard, getting things moved around. Even though February was very warm in certain days, we also had a lot of wind and a lot of rain as well. We're supposed to get a thunderstorm in, I think, later this evening. Then it's supposed to clear off a little bit Thursday and rain like hell Friday, and Saturday and Sunday supposed to be sunny. Saturday's supposed to be like 55, 60, Sunday's supposed to be like 60, 65. So those are 2 sunny days right there that we're going to be out in the yard non-stop, other than maybe running to gather certain items for, like, because one of the things I want to get is I want to get a few more yard tools. That way, when I'm doing something, I can have both my kids doing something, keeping them busy, and without me having to say, well, go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that. Because I tell them all the time, I'm like, man, you got eyes. You can see things that can be done that I shouldn't have to tell you, go do this. But if I don't tell them that, they'll just sit around with their thumb on their ass and be like, well, there's nothing to do. There's all kinds of stuff to do. I shouldn't have to tell you. I mean, you should be able to look and say, okay, there's a pile of leaves over here, let's get these raked up or whatever, you know, pick up the sticks around the yard. You know, there's all kinds of things you can do that I shouldn't have to tell you, but unfortunately, I have to tell them. It is what it is. But getting back to that video segment, I'm having a squirrel moment here. But getting back to that segment a couple of minutes ago when I said I had a video clip. After I post this video, I will post the secondary of the night. Now you can't see nothing. I mean, you might see little dots from the helicopters, 1 or 2 of them, of their marker indicators at nighttime. Now the video was taken probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I do know the last one that came through, they did have an indicator on it, like the red and green light or red and white light, something like that. I don't think I got that one on video. All of the ones that came through late last night, they were complete blacked out. There was no indicator lights. You know, you could hear them, you couldn't see them because it was black as hell. That's why I was kind of hoping that, you know, they would do daytime maneuvers, because when they come through, you can take a slingshot sometimes and hit them with a slingshot. That's how low they are. Now, I live in a no commercial fly zone, which means once you get past a certain ceiling deck, you know, of course I got passenger planes that fly through all the time, stuff like that, but they're like super high altitude. For at least a mile-ish, from the ground a mile up, no commercial fly zone whatsoever in my area. No private planes, no Cessnas. Only thing that's allowed is medical, like Kentucky First, Med First, you know, Satellite, stuff like that. They have free reign, but technically, the only thing you fly around here, well, not you fly, but the only thing that does fly around here is military aircraft. and a lot of times they are low. But you know, that's what happens when you live less than 5 miles from a military base. You know, it's the kind of things that happens. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy, and I don't really think the video does it justice. I mean, when they came through last night, they were probably, from where I was standing at, maybe 400 meters away from me, give or take. Maybe a little farther than 400 meters, but somewhere in that range. Height off the ground wise, I would say probably 200 feet off the ground, maybe 300, somewhere in that ballpark. But it's like, there's a lot of times when they do that, I could be sitting in the house in the computer chair and it literally feels like I'm riding a Harley Davidson motorcycle, because when they fly over so low, everything shakes. I mean, it's like, and it's, you know, it's crazy. But yeah, you know, that's, like I said, it's the joys of living next to a military base. You know, you got the pros and the cons. And, you know, the cons is they can pretty much fly as low as they want, and there's nothing you can do about it. There, a long time ago in the past, they would do this at nighttime, like in the late, like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I think Goodman Airfield, which is the airfield on Fort Knox, has basically blocked my number, because I would call them so many times, bitching, raising hell, because they were flying so low at nighttime. You know, they were basically waking the kids up. And like I tell them, you know, this is a school night, and the kids are asleep, getting woken up because you're flying your helicopter so damn low that basically shaking the house like crazy, and it's waking them up. And you know, but of course, one of the guys on one of the lines one day was like, you know, he was like kind of sympathetic, and he said, but you know, he goes, yeah, but we're training. I'm like, you have 1,000+ acres at Fort Knox. You can train all day, night. You know, with no quarrels. You don't need to fly across my house at treetop level at 12 o'clock at night. You know, that's not training. I hear a commercial truck. Let me see. Oh, I see what it is. Dollar General's right there. He made a wrong turn. I knew I heard a reefer. I couldn't tell what it was. Oh, he done screwed up bad, real bad. He made a wrong turn. So that means he's gonna have to come down here, make a left on 313, which is Patriot Parkway, go all the way down to the stoplight, which hits 31W, make a left, come down, and no, he can't do that either, because the turn, well, he might be able to make a turn there, and then turn around and come down the main road, which I'm not going to say, but you know, yeah, anybody knows my area knows, you know, exactly where I'm at anyway, so it's no big deal. But then he's going to have a huge ass circle to come back and make his drop again, because evidently dispatch gave him the wrong directions. But one of those things. See, that's one of the things I don't miss about driving over the road, is when dispatch gives you these crazy ass directions, and then once you make your turn, you're like, fuck, and there's nothing you can do about it. But it is what it is. But anyway, like I said, 10:20, and no calls yet. So I'm gonna give Frankfurt probably about 12 or 1, and if I don't get any calls saying, hey, you know, our system's up and running, what's your card number, so we can run your card through, and as soon as it's paid, we'll print out your processor's license and ship it to you. You know, if I don't get a call about in that time frame, I'm going to town and I'm going to get some decking block, because that's going to be that much closer to getting my back porch, mudroom, whatever you want to call it, started and processed. And yeah, it'd be great. So I know this is an oddball kind of video. There's nothing really important, or no importance of anything really. One other thing I'm gonna hit on is I have a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, I have a few people that I know personally and around here, and some people that are out of state, and they are like hardcore conspiracy theorists. Now, some things on the conspiracy theorist things I do agree with, but some of the other people are, right now, they are so far out in left or right field that even with a bungee strap, you can't bring them back in. And I get it. To me, it's kind of comical, some of the stuff that they're posting, like the Palestine train wreck up in, you know, Ohio. That it's a government conspiracy, and you know, I mean, it could be. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the government has done things in the past to really shady, deceivious kind of things, but you know, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I just don't foresee it. You know, a couple of years ago we had 3 train derailments not even 4 miles from the house, which, you know, was, I mean, a derailment is a derailment, but you know, there was people around here at the time, oh, it was planned. Well, not really, because you figure how much a freight car costs, and the damage and everything else, and you know, having to pay out. I don't see how a lot of this is planned, because you know, with the Palestine crap up there, up in Ohio, you know, you're looking at millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, and I can't see the railway doing this to be fined millions upon millions of dollars as a tax write-off. I just don't see it. You know, y'all can call it what you want, but to me, honestly, I just don't see it. Now, later this afternoon, you might see me again. You might not. Who knows? You know, the day's still young, and you know, who knows what might happen. But until then, have a great Wednesday. Just do what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep your nose clean, your powder dry, and everything should be okay. Until then, I'll see y'all again soon.